All right, hello everybody. It's Mr. Glass Eagle. Um, we're going to talk about today carrying capacity and how it kind of wraps up some of the stuff that we have been discussing in ecology. What carrying capacity is the maximum population size. Now remember, population is the number of individuals. So how many zebra are in one area? Um, how much grass is in one area? Um, Talking about an individual species is in the population. So carrying capacity is the maximum population size the environment can sustain. So how many of those zebras, how many of those deers, how many rabbits, how many of those specific species or individuals can live in one area? Okay, based on um, the things that cause population to stop growing would be the amount of food, water, and space. Right. So if you have, let's say you have a fish tank, only so many fish can live in that fish tank. If you overcrowd it, they're not going to be able to swim around. They're not going to be able to eat because there's not enough food in there. The tank size itself is going to limit you to how many fish that you can have in that fish tank. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So again, these limiting factors, they are the challenges, or they are the things that control or slow down the population growth. So again, carrying capacity is just the max number or an average number of species that can live in a specific area. And what's happening is population is always going to want to go up. Okay, species naturally, right? One of the things that drives them is to reproduce. So they're going to want to reproduce, and their litter or the amount of offspring that they have is always going to be more than just the two parents. Think about your dogs. How many do they have in a litter? Anywhere from 5 to 10. So every time there's a litter, every year or so, their population size is going up and up and up and up. And now the limiting factors or competition is the thing that's going to be pushing it down, the number of um, individuals in the area. So let's talk about this, just in something in general. Let's go back to the finches. Okay, let's say there's only, I don't know, I'm gonna make up these numbers, 100 seeds. Okay, on the island, there's only 100 pieces of food for them. The finch population is gonna go up, 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 right? While this is going up, what is happening to the food? Okay, what's happening to all the different seeds? There's a lot of seeds to begin with. Now they're eating them, so the seed population or the number of seeds is going to go down. Now, as there's not a lot of food left, what do you think is going to happen to all the finches? Their population is going to slow down. There's not that much food. You got to eat to survive. So now their population is going to start going down. As this population starts to go down, what's going to happen to the seeds? What do you think? That's right, there's going to be more seeds, more chances for the flowers when they produce seeds to grow because there's less of a predator. So this is going up. Well, guess what? Now, because that's going up, the population will start to go up. And we're going to see this constant up and down and up and down and up and down as we see the food that they're eating go up and down and up and down, and they'll eventually kind of stay within each other. Okay, that's just one of the things. The other things could just be the amount of space. We were going to do a lab where we grow. It's called duckweed. If you ever seen a small pond or anything, small body of water outside somewhere, fresh water, they have these things called duckweeds. So all those little plants, that's called duckweed. And now what these things will do is they will grow based off of the size of the container. So if I put a circle up. Okay, this is the top of the container. We're going to keep having these things grow until there's no more room for them. So it's 1, 2, right? They're going to keep doubling and doubling and getting grow and grow and grow. Each dot counts as 1. And what's happening to the population here is that it is, right? We went from 1 to 3 to 8 to 12. The population is going up, 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 up like this. Over a long enough period of time, what's going to happen? Are these guys going to have enough room? Eventually they'll cover the entire top. And then what's going to happen to the population? It's going to have to level off. Okay? So all of a sudden, there's just going to be, let's say this was 0 here. Okay? And then 1, 2, 3. I can't draw that well. And then let's say eventually there'll be 50. Just making up numbers here. Okay? Now there's 50. And what's going to happen is it's going to roughly stay around that 50 mark, because that's only the highest number that can actually grow in this pond. So again, to recap, carrying capacity is how many individuals or species can survive into one area without putting too much strain on the environment. And the limiting factors, or the things that can slow down the population, would be water, shelter, so where they're living, and food. And so once again, carrying capacity, the population is going to grow until it hit its limits, and then it will stabilize and stay roughly the same population. And then we can tie this right back into the food web. So let's say, for whatever reason, there was an overhunting of mice. So now there's no more mice. So now the mice population, for whatever reason, went straight down. Now it's out. The owl population, let's give them gray. The owl population, when there was a lot of mice, well, guess what? There was a lot of owls. Now there's no mice. What's going to happen to the owls? What's the only thing the owl eats? In this food web, it's mice. Now this population will die. Well, now guess what? What else relies on the mice? Snake. So no snake. Let's give the snake green. So just like the owls, right? They were rising because of a lot of mice, and now they're out. Well, as the snakes start to fall, what's going to happen to the kite? Big bird. Let's give him pink. Okay, he was probably up here somewhere still, rising, rising, rising. Well, now that the snakes fell, their only source of food, their population is going to go down. And only if the mice come back we can then have owls again, snakes, and kite. And so if one thing is removed or if one thing is added, it's going to change the whole population. Okay, so food is a resource, which is a limiting factor. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment.